Previously, Entix begs while crying to save his soul who was in hell, and the reward for that is the Dragon King membership. Hearing the reward made Lloyd's face change into something creepy, because the reward is good. But 5 hours before the visit of Entix, the aftermath of the attack from the Bone Dragon was devastating, and people were working together to clear the damages that had been made. They pulled off the large trees to clear the canal. Men were working so hard carrying the logs to clear the area, while Viscount Nort was the one who was supervising them. While the bastard Lloyd Frontera was just at the side chilling and sitting in the chair while drinking the fresh water from the coconut. Then the queen suddenly appeared at his side with a poker face, looking at him. Of course, at first, Lloyd hadn't noticed it yet. He was shocked that it made Lloyd feel like he saw a Grim Reaper itself. Because of the shock, Lloyd shouted, "Whoa, to think I was caught." It was supposedly part of his inner thought, but his thoughts and what he was going to say interchange, because he intended to tell the queen an excuse that he was just resting for a while after the work. Javier looks at Lloyd because he was called out by his master. Lloyd told Javier, "Javier, why aren't you keeping your watch? Geez. A Grand Master like you can't even detect someone coming nearby if you are drinking something? What a messed up situation." The queen could only exhale because this bastard was blaming something for his incompetence, which is really like him. Lloyd bows down to the queen. The queen said, "You are a supervisor. It is not your job to move logs yourself." Lloyd replied, "Yes, that is right. I was just collecting my thoughts back there." The queen asks him, "Then why did you say you were caught?" Lloyd was thinking of another excuse. The queen told her knight to leave them since they had something to discuss. She told Lloyd to come closer because there was something that she needed to tell Lloyd while whispering to him. Lloyd was crawling to the queen like an ant. But while Lloyd was crawling towards her, Queen Alicia saw Lloyd's butt that is wiggling like a jelly. She remembers the time when she made Lloyd like a cannonball and smack his butt while saying blast to scare off the bone dragon. Her hands were shivering while holding back because she really wanted to smack that beautiful booty of Lloyd. She wants to feel that sensational feeling once again, but she knows that she must forget that desire because Lloyd is the strongest person, and if Lloyd becomes her enemy, then the whole Magentano kingdom will be destroyed. She was thinking that no matter what, she couldn't slap his buttocks even though she was the queen. But while thinking deeply, she already slapped the butt of Lloyd like a horse. When she realized it, she could only say sheet, because, for her, it looked so good for spanking that she did it without realizing it. While his butt was still wiggling from that spanking, Lloyd said, "Your Highness, I will gladly accept my punishment if I have done anything wrong." The queen was shocked to know that Lloyd was not angry at all. Javier looked at him with disgust, and he said, "You will gladly accept getting your buttocks hit?" "I knew he was a pervert." Lloyd replied, "You idiot. That was an idiomatic expression. Do not put words in my mouth." The system asks him, "Natural science student using an idiomatic expression?" Lloyd replied, "Natural science students know things like that too." Queen Alicia kneels towards Lloyd to whisper something. She said, "Where did you send the dragon bone to? It could cause a huge commotion if someone were to see it." Lloyd replied, "I had already considered that and ordered it to hide in a faraway land that no humans visit." Queen Alicia asked, "You have a Grand Master and a dragon bone. Are you aware that you have the strongest forces in the world within the country?" Lloyd replied, "I know what you're worried about, Your Highness. That power is required in order to protect the peace and stability. I would be crazy to try and use them for myself." The butt of Lloyd still wiggling, and the queen focuses his attention towards it. Lloyd added, "I am simply someone who is under your care. I will forever be a citizen of yours." The queen was silent, because she didn't put interest in what Lloyd says because she knows it was all flattering. What she focused on is looking at the butt of Lloyd who she wants to slap. The queen could only say thank you to Lloyd, who swore loyalty to her. Lloyd replied, "Thank you for your gracious words. Now, we already know who will be spanked every night, if they end up together." Going back to her palace, the queen could only smile, from what she heard a while ago. In her mind, a power that controls power. "You're much stronger than you seem." Then the queen felt a sudden pain that made her kneel. The guard was alarmed when the queen suddenly felt intense pain. It was the poison that she got in Targa's castle, and even though she was a swordmaster, she wasn't able to detoxify it. Then the notification pops up, and the number of life that Lloyd saved decreases from 31 million to 18 million in an instant. Lloyd started to question himself as to what was happening, and why is it suddenly dropping. In his mind, the lives that I saved are dying? More than 10 million people are going to die. Well, the dragon is also a character that didn't appear in the novel at all. This means that unexpected dangers are going to continue occurring. That night, the queen was in pain. There is someone who is whispering to her that Lloyd is a dangerous person and he needs to be killed immediately, because, in the end, he will go after the life of the queen. But the queen resisted that voice inside her head, because she knew that Lloyd was not that kind of a person. But the poison was so intense that it controlled the mind of the queen, and she was not able to resist it. She grabs the sword and walks like a crazy wife who is going to cut that thing of his husband, Lloyd Frontera, because of cheating. But setting aside the jokes, she holds the sword with the grudge on her face, walking towards the room where Lloyd stays in. On the other hand, the negotiation between the legendary scammer Lloyd Frontera and the poor dragon Entix continues. Entix told Lloyd how his life ended, but the king captured his soul, and because Lloyd has the heart of a dragon, he thinks that Lloyd is the only one that could save him. Lloyd replied, wait, dragon mister, I'm not curious about your situation at all. Entix asks, pardon? I only told you my circumstances because I need to motivate you. Lloyd told him that he is not going to be motivated by his situation, but by the terms that he would offer to Lloyd. This bastard was so selfish that he could only think what benefits him to achieve his lazy life. Lloyd asks him, what are the benefits that I will get? Entix replied, oh, if you get the Dragon King membership, you will be able to share the riches of the Dragon King, which are close to being infinite. Lloyd said that it sounded good and asked for the other benefits. While listening to their negotiations, Javier notices some bloodlust outside the door. It was that the queen was already outside the door, holding a sword with an aura embedded on it. He was ready to cut off Lloyd's little thing in an instant. What? I mean, he wants to cut Lloyd. But Lloyd was so immersed in the negotiations and the benefits of that membership. Entix said, please don't lose the chance to gain such a special privilege. You get to have an extra life. You can revive on the spot once if you die. That caught the interest of Lloyd. Lloyd said, oh, nice, nice. That is exactly what I need right now, but how do I know that what you said is true? Entix told Lloyd that he is a dragon, and dragons don't lie. Hearing that, Lloyd told him to forget everything and go look for somewhere else to ask for help. Entix asks, hold on, what do I need to do for you to trust me? This bastard wants assurance first, and don't want to be scammed by anyone. Javier, on the other hand, felt that the bloodlust grew stronger, so he decided to unsheath his sword, preparing to attack what is behind the door. When Javier opened the door, there were no people in the hallway, and everything was clear. Lloyd asks him what is wrong, and why he suddenly feels alarmed. Javier told Lloyd that it was nothing, and he was just being sensitive. Lloyd told him that he was so lame for a grand master, but the queen already escaped from that door. She was on her knees while catching her breath. She was asking, what on earth she is thinking to do something like that. Now, the negotiation continues. Lloyd said, how about this? Give me some magic that will guarantee that I can escape from hell, and also make a vow of your soul that states that your soul will be erased for eternity if you don't keep your promise. Hearing that made Entix shocked. He said, what? How do you know about the vow of soul? That is something only dragons know about. Lloyd replied, is that what is important right now? Are you going to do it or not? If you take too long to think, I will just go to sleep. The poor dragon could only agree to what this scammer asks. Entix raised his right hand and said, I vow that if I fail to keep my promise, my soul shall be erased for eternity. After that, Lloyd asks if that is all. Entix replied, sorry, but there aren't any special effects for this. This bastard watches too many movies that want some special effects. After taking the vow, Lloyd asks, by the way, It has been bothering me since just now, but are your hair and beard actually tentacles? Why are they constantly moving even though there isn't a wind in here? Entix told him that it was because he is a dragon. Lloyd asks again if what is the connection of being a dragon and a moving bear. But Entix did not put attention on that nonsense question of Lloyd, and he draws something on Lloyd's hand. He said, "In any case, this is the magic. Clasp your hands tightly together and shout commandments of time and space, break the taboo, and show me where I must go. If you do that, a gate will open for you to escape back in this world." Lloyd told him that his sentence didn't sound too powerful. Entix added, "When you shout the incantation, think of someone who knows you. A gate will open in the vicinity of that person." Then Lloyd picked up his legendary weapon, his shovel, and said, "Great, okay, then shall we get to hell to get me that extra life? Javier, let's go." Then Entix opens the portal to hell. Javier's face turns into something strange and he says, "It is hell though, don't you think? You should ask for my permission on this." Lloyd's face turns into a villain and said, "What are you talking about? You just need to go wherever I tell you to." Then he jumps towards the portal and told Javier that they need to go. This bastard jumps towards the portal of hell like he is going to have a vacation in his homeland. Javier could only be silent while looking at his selfish young master, who jumps to the portal to hell. He thinks that he is being underpaid from his job. Who the hell would jump to hell on its own? As soon as both Lloyd and Javier jump into the portal, an urgent message appeared on their phones. At that moment, all of the hell's alarms began to alert every demon. A human that dared to infiltrate hell. Only the evil bastard Lloyd could do that stunt. The demons already heard the news of what happened between Lloyd and the Hell Knight, on how Lloyd made the Death Knight scream while he was singing. At that moment, all the demons have the same thought. Wow, the great singer in hell is here to host a concert. On the burning lands of hell, one soul was running away, but was blocked by one of the working demons. The demon laughs and picks him up. The demon said, well, looks like we have an escaped soul. How dare you try to go against the ruling and run away?" The other demon just glares at him with his eyes wide open like he is high or something. This demon could even become a champion in a staring contest. The evil demon laughs and he says, "I will chew you up and marinate you in a sauce for a day to turn you into some sweet and sour pork." The lost soul was so scared that he could only close his eyes while crying. He was asking for someone to save him. Then someone scarier appeared. Of course, it was the founder of hell, Lloyd Frontera. He told one of the devils to answer his question. Looking at his face, the lost soul was sweating, looking at someone scarier than the one who was holding him. The devil angrily shouts at him and says, "Hey, even if you are a great singer, you are still a human." But without letting the demon finish his sentence, he slaps that demon using his shovel on the head, making his head bend. Then the demon with his bent chin turns into Snow White, resting in peace while waiting for his true love's kiss. The glaring demon angrily said, "How did you suddenly hit him out of nowhere? My friend's chin is all crooked now. Just apologize to him." Then, like a conscience, Javier at his back said, "Are you worried about your friend right now?" What a kind-hearted demon. Hearing a good word from Javier, the demon who doesn't want to be praised for something good, felt like cold water was being thrown away at him. The glaring demon was shivering and sweating from what Javier said. He told Javier, "What do you even know about me? Stop talking nonsense. I'm really cold-hearted evil." Javier replied, "No, you are a kind-hearted demon." Hearing that made that glaring demon shiver more. Javier added, "Your mother must have raised you with love." Hearing that made the glaring demon stunned like lightning had hit him. Javier said another heartwarming word, "Let me guess. Your mother told you something like this, right? To become a good demon that looks after those around you." The demon was shivering because of the agony he had from the good words that Javier said to him. The demon was still shivering from holding back his tears from the words of the great Grand Master. Javier added, "Your mother must have hugged you every day, telling that you are a lovely child, a child that loves others." Her saying that must have been like a blessing upon you that increased your self-confidence endlessly. You must have grown to be such a kind-hearted demon as you grew up learning from such a good mother. The demon at last burst into tears while denying what Javier said. Javier said, "Is this what your mother said to you when you got angry? That feeling you have is also part of you. Be sure to protect those emotions." The demon falls on his knees while crying and he says, "No, my mom didn't do that." From glaring demon, he turns into a crying demon. For the last time, Javier told him that he hopes that he will be nice to his mother. Even Lloyd, who was listening to what he was saying, was shocked from the words of Javier. Like a crybaby, the crying demon burst into tears while punching softly Javier. Like a child, he shouted, "Take them back, right now. Take them back right now. You know, you are so mean." Lloyd was sweating from what Javier said, and he told Javier that he had gone overboard from what he said. Even this evil bastard Lloyd has some small conscience. Javier asked Lloyd on which part that he went overboard. Lloyd replied, "Wow, you really are super talented at tearing a demon's heart apart." Lloyd told Javier that there are certain boundaries that he should not cross into. But Lloyd noticed that the other demon he slaps a while ago with the shovel had already wake up asking what happened. But Lloyd, without a second thought, slaps him with the shovel once again. The crybaby demon burst into tears while in the chest of Javier. While crying, that demon told Javier that his mom told her that she was glad that he was born and that her mom told him that he was her happiness. Javier could only comfort the demon who was crying while opening up to him. While on the other hand, Lloyd's language is beating someone like Garp, whose love is in the form of fist. So he beat the demon with his legendary shovel while smiling like he was the demon or something. The next thing that happens is that the demon is kneeling in front of Lloyd like a son who is talking to his father. The demon said, "Ask me with anything you want. I will answer everything." Hearing that made Lloyd compliment him since he was now ready for the interrogation. The demon said, "What do you mean? You never give me a chance to answer though." Lloyd asks, "Would you have answered if I didn't beat you up?" The demon replied, "Nope, I wouldn't have answered." The demon smiled, looking at Lloyd. This man, he is asking in unexpected ways like it was nothing. That makes me respect him. When a demon respects you, this means you are a legend. So basically Lloyd is a legendary being. Lloyd raised the phone and said, "First question. I found this on you. What is it? Isn't this a smartphone?" The demon told Lloyd that what he is holding is called a spirit phone. Lloyd asks, "Why is this phone giving weird replies?" The demon replied, "The spirit phone doesn't have a search function. You can't find any information on hell, and even if you do get something, 40% of it is lies." Lloyd said, "Oh, if 40% of it is real information, that is already way better than the human world." The demon was shocked that Lloyd saw through all of his lies. Lloyd told him that he knows that demons are just full of lies. Then Lloyd, with a smirking face, asks that demon the direction of the King of Hell's castle. This demon tried to talk lies and scam someone like Lloyd, who is the legendary scammer. Then they fly towards the castle. Riding Galming, the demon asked, "I already told you that the castle is in the west. Why are you heading to the east?" Lloyd replied, "That is because you lied. You little packer." Hearing that made the demon blush like he received perfect recognition from Lloyd. Lloyd said, "Are you happy that I am swearing at you? You psycho." Lloyd said, "Tell me everything you know about the King of Hell and about hell, and I will berate you with swear words when we reach the castle." The demon replied, "Oh, that sounds tempting. By the way, you are a human. So how are you fine within the high heat of the flames of hell?" Lloyd calls the demon as an impudent packer for asking questions because Lloyd told him that right now, he is only the one who is allowed to ask questions. Although it was hurtful, the demon was so happy from being cursed. But the reason why Lloyd is immune and gains resistance to dehydration in all high heat areas is because of his title called the Veteran in wearing only panties in the Western country. Looking at the large skull in the middle of the burning magma, Lloyd asks if that is the Hell Castle. The demon told him that it was not, but Lloyd knew that it was all lies. So he said that they are now going to land to the Hell's Castle. Galming lands with a frown face due to the extreme heat. land at their destination. After they ride down on Gaming, Lloyd told Javier that they need to go and fight the King of Hell. But suddenly, the demon called Lloyd as the great singer asks him that he wants the reward, which is to be berated by the swear words as what Lloyd promised a while ago. But Lloyd just glared at him and told him that he doesn't want to do that and that he should get lost. Hearing that made the demon blush, and he said, "Well, this really made me start falling in love." Then Javier also smiles while the crying demon bids farewell to him. This is the difference between Lloyd and Javier. Lloyd develops the demon into a masochist who wants to be cursed at any time and blush while talking shit about him, while Javier turns a demon into someone lovable. Then the two of them continue their journey towards the Castle of Hell, which is a skull castle that spits magma in its mouth. While these two legends walk into the castle that is full of demons, like they are something like a guest in a masquerade ball with too confidence, and disregarding all the demons in there, the demons smirked and said, "What is that?" Not only do they walk themselves into hell, they are acting all confident. One of the demons asks if they are nuts. Then Lloyd's face turns into something scary that makes that demon sweat. It said that he was scared to death because of his face. Another demon who saw his ugly face transitioned into a princess, calling his mom. Then the two continued their journey, while the demon was shivering, looking at the wall to look away from that ugly face of Lloyd. All the papers were in a mess because of what Lloyd's made. He laughed and said that hell was an easy place for him. Then a Hell Knight appeared and he said, "I am the guard captain of the King of Hell's office, the 2nd Brigade General Heliximus. How dare you stand in the way of my mission?" But with just a split second, he just beat down the Hell Knight. The Hell Knight's horse was shivering from what he saw. Lloyd compliments Javier for creating a series of careful beatings. Javier now becomes like his young master. Previously, he couldn't even defeat one Hell Knight when he was a swords master, but now that he is a Grand Master, he just beat it down easily. Then Lloyd opens up the main office. There he saw a middle-aged man who is problematic, while signing up all the piled papers around him. As soon as he saw the King of Hell, Helkaros, who was once fetching him up, he knew that what he saw last time was not just a mere dream, but now, he is so certain about what he saw last time. He bowed down and said, "I, Lloyd Frontera, a human, pay my respects to the King of Hell." The king, who was so busy signing the paperwork, said, "Why have you come now of all times? Do not disturb me, I am so busy." Lloyd asks, "Do you want to get off from overwork, right?" Lloyd was able to pick up the attention of Helkaros. He looked at Lloyd and said, "Why are you asking the obvious?" Lloyd smiled to Helkaros and told him that he would help him achieve that. This King of Hell needs to get advice. For someone who dreams of having a lazy life. Another powerful being who will be scammed. Some of the things that Lloyd learned from the spirit phone. For 670,000 years. That is the number of years for the King of Hell to have worked without a single break. The previous King of Hell worked for 3.5 billion years without a break, fell into depression, and took his own life. The current King of Hell, Helkaros, knows this as well, that he will end up following the same path as his predecessor, who suffers from overworking. Helkaros stops working to listen to what Lloyd wants to say. He asks, "How will you allow me to live a life that can knock off on time?" Lloyd just smiled and told Helkaros that what he is going to do is a secret business that he will deal. Helkaros said, "You dare try to negotiate with me, the King of Hell? I know you are crazy, but this is going a little overboard." With his evil smile, thinking he had the upper hand, Lloyd said, "Please feel free to execute me now if you dislike me, and then you can continue to work for the next 3.5 billion years." Helkaros was alarmed hearing what Lloyd said. Lloyd and Javier were nervous and sweating because there was no guarantee that Javier would be able to protect Lloyd. They are up against the King of Hell. He is a being that possesses an unfathomable amount of power. In Lloyd's mind, there is one piece of information that I am counting on. The spirit phone had lots of content that was dissing the King of Hell. The King of Hell would ignore the laws and make his own judgment as he pleased. But there isn't any solid evidence. That means, The king of hell is actually someone who executes strictly on the laws. I am going to bet that he is an above-the-board and honest employee." Then the king of hell called Lloyd, and he called him by his past name, Kim Soo-ho. This piqued the attention of Javier, who was listening. The king of hell asks Lloyd what does he want in exchange. Lloyd smiled and, in his mind, "I have the upper hand in this negotiation. The one who is more desperate is the loser." Lloyd humbly bows and said, "The soul of Entix, which you have detained here. I want him to be free." Then with just one flick of Helkero's finger, a whirlpool of mana appeared. It was actually Entix's soul who was crying and trapped in an orb. The king of hell asked, "Are you talking about this? I only keep him for my entertainment, so it isn't of great value to me." "Alright, now that I have shown you what you want to see, isn't it time for you to give me an answer? How will you help me knock off some of my work?" Lloyd told the king of hell that he has planned to set up an expressway. While the crazy workload is the problem, there is a bigger problem for the king of hell. After being judged by the king of hell, the souls are escorted to the gate of reincarnation. The demons would transport those souls in carts due to the packed-up terrain of hell. The routes keep changing. The demons are too stupid to find a new route on their own. In the end, the king of hell has to keep updating the new routes in real time. That is the core reason that he is unable to knock off work. If Lloyd builds an expressway to transport those souls, then the king of hell's workload can be reduced exponentially just by handing over Entix. The king of hell can be able to avoid lots of paperworks and enjoy a sweet and relaxing time. Helkeros told Lloyd that he would write up the contract so they could proceed with his idea. Lloyd was so happy, like he hit a jackpot. He is ready now to claim the Dragon King membership. Helkeros delivers the paper to Lloyd, using magic to sign the contract. He said, "I have used up a full minute just to talk to you. If the reincarnation of the microorganisms and bacteria are delayed, it could cause a great extinction of all living things. I don't have time to plan manpower and material supplies for you. Demons that want to work are already transporting souls. You can do whatever you want with the idiots that are left." Lloyd proudly replied, "I am an expert when it comes to delegating tasks. I just need one announcement from you on the spirit phone, and it will all be resolved." And with just a split second, both Lloyd and Javier were transported into one area in hell. Lloyd was on his knees because he was amazed about what happened. He said, "Wow, the king of hell's power is incredible. He was able to teleport us with just a flick of a finger." He looked at a large black thing in the area. He said, "Is that the gate of reincarnation? It looks like a black hole. It will be the end of me, and my soul will get sucked up if I got too close to that." Javier remains silent. He suddenly asks, "Is your name Kim Soo-ho? Whatever your name is, tell me your plans." Lloyd was sweating because Javier knew that he is not the real Lloyd from Terra, and because of that he could not tell what Javier was thinking. Lloyd said, "As I have explained to the king of hell just now, we'll be making a road with iron." Javier asks Lloyd if that iron could last above the lava. Lloyd smiled and said, "I will only suggest if it is possible." Then, on the spirit phone of the demons, someone posted an announcement about the Lloyd from Terra's concert, who is the great singer in hell. It includes the time and the location of the said concert. The demon who saw the announcement first happily said, "Take a look at the announcement. He is really holding a concert." Everyone was praising and was so excited about the concert. All of the demons marched toward the said location. One demon said, "I cannot believe that I will be hearing the rumored singing of hell in person." Other demons said that they needed to go quickly since their hearts were already racing to hear the voice of Lloyd from Terra. In everyone's mind, if he dares to mess up his pitch or miss a beat, we will drag him all the way down. Since he is supposed to be better than us, demons have only high standards for Lloyd from Terra. What a legend. Like a mafia boss, Lloyd was at the top of the stage looking down at all of the demons. They are all cheering for Lloyd, saying that Lloyd will going to rock them. They are cheering for him to sing for them. He acts like he was going to sing the first note in Do Re Mi that made the Hell Knight scream for his life. This made all of the demons cheered louder, saying, "Sing for us." Lloyd glared at them, and he told them that he would not be going to sing anything. Hearing that made the crowd stop cheering, and they were so disappointed to hear that. The demons shouted, "What? We came all the way here just to hear you sing. Why aren't you singing? Why?" Lloyd just glared and said something while his mouth was smoking. He said, "Because I don't feel like singing for all of you. You packing idiots." The demons was so angry and were rallying to Lloyd that they said, "I feel like my blood pressure is rising. What a packing bastard. Get down here already. We'll kill you. Just keep your promise." All of the crowds was so angry, cursing at Lloyd. Now Lloyd calls the ace on his sleeves, the conscience named Javier. He told him that it's Javier's time to shine now. Javier asks, "Do you think promises need to be kept?" The demon replied, "Of course. Promises are meant to be kept." Every other demon agrees, shouting to Lloyd that he should need to keep his promise. Javier glares and looks down at them. He says, "All of you must have been taught some manners at home, huh?" For the demon who doesn't want to be praised for being good, they soften and are about to cry from what Javier said. The demons shouted, "We take back our words. Please don't keep your promise. Please wait a minute. I don't know what to do anymore." Lloyd's face turns into something heinous. While laughing at them, he said, "You idiots. It is so easy to make a fool of you." The demons were crying for being annoyed. While murmuring, they said, "I can't take this anymore. Bring him down. That is so infuriating. This is driving me nuts. Someone does something about him. I feel so freaking frustrated." Lloyd was just happy teasing them, telling the demons to come up if they can. Lloyd Frontera, the true demon, smiles and in his mind, "Get angry. Go crazy. Let every single vessel with your body be filled with hatred for me. When that happens, all of you will become one of my unpaid slaves. This bastard wants someone to work for him for free." A business-minded engineer, Mr. Lloyd Frontera, riding Galming in the air, the legendary MC Lloyd Frontera is continuously teasing all of the demons on the ground. He laughed and said, "If you really hate what you see, then try catching me." The demons were so irritated by the teasing of Lloyd. They want to pull down Lloyd Frontera and beat him down on the ground. They are shouting that they really want to kill Lloyd right now. These demons could die from high blood pressure due to teasing. When Galming lands above the ground, the teasing doesn't stop. He even created a chant saying,
Come on, bring it on, bring it on."
A demon shouted, "Do you think we cannot cross that? Just wait right there." Then he became a pole vault athlete, using the pole to jump on the lava and reach Lloyd. But the merciless Lloyd Frontera didn't wait for the demon to land, and he threw a stone at him, and bullseye, he was hit by Lloyd, which made him lose his balance. The demon was scared after being hit. His fellow demons were also scared for their comrade who is on the verge of falling down to the lava. Luckily, the demon falls on the stone part and not on the lava. He was panting from his near-death experience with Lloyd. Lloyd, with a Sigma look, said that it is a shame that he did not fall into the lava. At that moment, all of the demons were sweating. They realized that Lloyd was no joke. He is really going to kill them. That guy who was lying down like a lazy boss is the true demon among the demons. In the Archdemon Center, there are groups of demons that wants to protest against Lloyd. The leader shouted, "Everyone, we are demons. How can we let him do this to us?" The demons shouted, "We have to kill him. This means war." And then all of them ride on the lava centipede. The lava centipede squad was ordered to charge into Lloyd Frontera. The lava centipede is a creature of hell that possesses lava-resistant scales. They generally move in straight lines, so they are used for charging in the enemies. And then a bunch of lava centipede were rushing in the lava to go and hunt down Lloyd. But when they charge on the area where Lloyd is resting down, there is nothing in there. They are asking where did the bastard go, but suddenly, the lava centipede started to go wild and uncontrolled. They are holding on while the centipede going rampant. While their mouth is watering, the demons are asking what is wrong and what is happening. They realize that the centipede seemed to be smelling something. With the uncontrollable behavior, the lava centipede rushes inside the cave, and the demon who is riding with it bumps into the hard debris in the cave, in which he receives a large lump on his head. And those two legends are actually waiting there for the lava centipede squad to arrive. And the bait is, of course, Galming, who was in a hot bath. Javier was there sharpening his sword. But of course, he fully trusts his young master's order. With his demonic smile, Lloyd said, "You caught on the scent of the chicken broth, huh?" The demon freezes because he doesn't know what to do. Then Javier slices up the centipede and Lloyd started to count down from 1. And the second centipede enters, and Lloyd starts to count 2. The same thing happened. The centipede was cut down easily. Lloyd continues to count the number of centipedes that is going and rushing inside because of being baited. The demons inside were shouting at the remaining demons to go back and retreat. But since the bait is already put up, the centipedes goes rushing in without minding their owners. The demons outside were asking what is happening inside, but the demons in the cave were shouting murderer and asking for help. And with that plan, 32,435 materials obtained from the lava centipedes. The operation of baiting the lava centipedes with chicken broth is a success. And all of the demons are bowing down, shivering as their new boss is looking at them. He was successful to obtain a large number of workforces. Lloyd's body is smoking from the hype. With his ugly and evil smile, he said, "Let us go dig some ground, my free laborers." While signing up the piled papers in hell, Helkeros was looking at his laptop. In his mind, that guy, he gathered information about me and the creatures in hell. He knew all of that in advance before he came up with the railroad idea. At first, Helkeros was only planning to capture Lloyd to use him as his advisor in managing hell. But now, as he looks at the ugly face of this bastard, he realizes what he is capable of. In his mind, what if I can pass on my job to him? And now, the construction of railroad starts, and all of the demons he was able to scam are now working to their bones, of course, without pay. But of course, there is no way in hell that the demons would do their work obediently. When there is a chance, they would try to escape. And that is where the human CCTV came in. A freaking grandmaster, Javier Asrahan. Those who tried to escape were captured and carried back to their designated works. Other demons are scared of what they see. And there is also someone who leads a riot asking to promise them freedom and a promise of their rights. And for those who rioted, Javier just said good words to them. For demons, it was abusive, because they wanted to be cursed and not to receive some good words. Javier told them that asking for freedom and rights was the right thing to do. They could only cover their mouth after that. However, there are limits to the effectiveness of those violent methods. Like an old demon who falls on his knees while working, and a young demon runs and asks him if he is alright. That is where the true epitome of evil. The bastard Lloyd Frontera, who appears calling the old man. He suddenly became an angel that fall from the sky, offering his hand to the poor old man who falls from overwork. As soon as their hands touched with each other, the demon could see hope that this guy is not that bad. But of course, as what we said a while ago, he was the epitome of evil. When the old man holds his hand, he grips it with a full force. The hand of the poor old man broke because of this evil bastard. His face turns into uglier than the demons in hell. He shouted at the old man, which made him scared. Lloyd shouted, "Get up quickly and work. Don't try to act weak. I can clearly see all those muscles of yours." He grabs the horns of the young demon and shake it. He said, "You only helped that guy for 5 seconds, and then you slacked off. Kind bastard. I want you to carry 5 times what you are carrying right now." While this evil villain Lloyd Frontera left after those scolding, the 2 demon cried. Poor demons suffered from this evil bastard. The old demon said, "You villain, you trash. You are the most terrible person in the world." But because Lloyd is the most evil person, they cry. Not because they are sad, they cried because they are happy. They are blushing from what Lloyd is doing. In their mind, we can't help but fall in love of your wickedness. The role model of all demons. We need to learn from him. And with that, Lloyd completely winning over all of the demons' heart. On the other hand, there is a lost soul in hell who was alone in the upper side of the mountains, hiding. Lloyd was shouting, telling demons about the importance of safety in their work, which the demons followed. But this lost soul notices that this voice is something familiar to him. So, he tried to look down on who was the one who is supervising all of the demons in hell. Lloyd, with his ugly face shouted, "That is right. There is no safety for you demons. Of course, there will be no breaks either. You can only rest after you are dead. But the lost soul who was shocked to see Lloyd in hell was the soul of real Lloyd, the real owner of the body. He was confused about why is the bastard in hell. Now that there are two Lloyds, we will refer to our MC as Kim Soo-ho. A few years ago, in Frontera territory, one day, the real Lloyd Frontera lost his body. And Kim Soo-ho ends up at the body of Lloyd Frontera, and as soon as he wakes up in that body, he feels an extreme cold. Looking at his body that was stolen from him, the real Lloyd was confused, so he rushed towards his body to take it back. In his mind, who is that bastard? Give me my body back, you mother faker. But when he rushed towards his original body, his soul bumps into a barrier that prevents him from going near to his body. The real Lloyd could only hold his nose that was smacked on the barrier. He is starting to question if the bastard who stole his body is a demon or a wizard. But on the other hand, Kim Soo-ho, who was on the body of Lloyd, was annoyed by what pops up in the system, and it really pisses him off hearing the tone. But for the real Lloyd, who can't see the system, he is starting to question what does Kim Soo-ho doing, or he is some crazy bastard that just possesses body. Then a whirling energy appears at the back of the real Lloyd, and that was actually a portal where the one who pops out is a skeleton guy with an hourglass. Lloyd's soul was scared to see a Grim Reaper who popped out suddenly, but the Grim Reaper was confused about what happened and why is the soul of his body was already outside from his original self. So the Grim Reaper just put the point of his side at the real Lloyd's clothes and called for the King of Hell to clarify something. The Grim Reaper said, "Chief, I am out of the business trip because I got a report from a soul sensor, but this soul's color is strange." "Pardon? I mean, he is color red." "Pardon again? He is not registered as scheduled for death? That is weird. He is definitely a soul." After hearing that call, the Grim Reaper told Lloyd, "Excuse me, calm down for now. Your case is kind of strange right now. I don't know if it is an error on our end, or if there is something else, so I need to look into it." Hearing that the Grim Reaper is polite, the real Lloyd starts to question, This bastard's visual and tone of voice doesn't fit at all. The Grim Reaper enters the portal to find the answer to the situation. Before leaving, he said, "Please just wait for a moment. We will contact you when things get sorted." The real Lloyd was left dumbfounded. That is how he spent his whole time while being neither alive nor dead. He was following around Kim Soo-ho, who is the bastard who stole his body for a few years. The real Lloyd Frontera realized that the bastard who stole his body is a very different breed compared to him. The real Lloyd was always drunk, blaming his parents and their territory, and chose a path that worsened every day. But Kim Soo-ho, who was in his body, never rested and kept moving, and eventually paying off his family's debt. The gazes of his mother and father, when staring at him looking disappointed, had completely changed. Looking at the large summon of Kim Soo-ho, the real Lloyd Frontera said, "That bastard's even using bizarre magic and summoning. If I had a skill like that, I would become different." Then the Grim Reaper, who heard what he was murmuring, suddenly appeared and said, "Who knows what will happen?" The real Lloyd was shocked by his sudden appearance. The Grim Reaper said, "Do you think that kind of person, if he didn't have that kind of superpower, would drink alcohol every day? And do you think if you had that ability, you would work as hard as he does?" The real Lloyd was silent because he was hit by reality from what the Grim Reaper said. The Grim Reaper laughs and says, "Oh, sorry. I was just listening and felt it was strange. Anyway, there is no precedent in your case. But since you are a soul, it doesn't seem like you should stay in this world. Let us meet the King of Hell for the consultation." Before going to hell with the Grim Reaper, the real Lloyd looks back at his body. In his mind, that bastard that stole my body, staring at him is just too painful now. He helped me realize everything I should be ashamed of. During the consultation, the King of Hell said that there was no relevant legislation and didn't take any particular measures. He couldn't reincarnate or disappear. He lives a life where he had to travel hell while avoiding the eyes of the evil demons. But right now, He was angry after seeing his real body that was possessed by Kim. Suho is right now in hell supervising the demons like he is some sort of a boss. He wants to say to him that he should be here, and he is a packer. On the other hand, Kim Suho was looking at the whole area, and he felt annoyed. In his mind, the topography here is a mess. I should go around. I need a flat land like that. That is a total of 110 kilometers. It is a bit long. But there are those who are not eating and resting. No, there are 30,000 demons who cannot eat or rest. I can end that soon. Let us see if there are any dangerous ground. While Kim Suho was using his skill to skin the whole area, a sudden kick from the real Lloyd Frontera was received by his handsome face, and it was a direct hit from the side. He was really pushed away from that sudden kick of the lost soul of Lloyd. Kim Suho was angry and could only curse while holding his cheeks. But without even a second wasted, the real Lloyd kicks his eyes. That made Kim Suho cursed everything, from the intense pain from that poking kick. But before the real Lloyd could sneakily release another attack on Kim Suho, the legendary Pokemon Podong suddenly taps his shoulders to protect his owner. And then Podong released a perfect uppercut in his stomach. A perfect hit that made the real Lloyd vomit water from his mouth. Podong pulls off his hair and pulls him from the floor. The real Lloyd was angry while panicking, telling Podong to let him go. But Podong does not care about anyone who hurts his owner, and he throws the real Lloyd to Babiong. With the very ugly face of Kim Suho, he looks at the real Lloyd and shouts at him, asking, "Who are you, you bastard?" The real Lloyd was scared to death, and wants to shout that the man in front of him is so freaking ugly. But when in fact, he was just looking at himself, a real mirroring of oneself. Kim Suho looked at him closely and was confused. He asked him if he was the real Lloyd Frontera. The real Lloyd shouted, "Yeah, you fake bastard. I am Lloyd Frontera, the one whose body you stole." At that moment, Kim Suho realized that the real owner of his body was actually in hell. The real Lloyd shouted, "How did you already get packed and rolled into hell? If you were going to steal my body, you should have taken responsibility, you motherfaker." The real Lloyd ended up crying and said, "Mother and father, they finally liked it, saying that I had finally grown up. How sad they must be. Hurry and go back. Go back right now." Kim Suho told him to calm down and listen to what he was going to say. The real Lloyd had gone wild and shouted, "What do you mean calm down? Just pack off. Do you think I can calm down right now?" Because he is going crazy whining. Podong punched him in the face, which made him silent for a second. Kim Suho said, "Nice. Now, you are finally ready to listen. We should resolve everything with the conversation, right?" But Lloyd went wild, shouting at Kim Suho once again. He said, "What do you mean conversation? Just pack off. This rat bastard has been beating me up since earlier. You gangster bastard, body thief bastard, beast-like bastard." Because of that, Podong punches him again. Kim Suho said, "First, I didn't come here by dying. I made the contract with the King of Hell and came here to do some construction. And I didn't take your body. When I opened my eyes, I was taken aback because I had become you." The real Lloyd Frontera replied, "You want me to believe that? Just who are you?" Kim Suho, with a serious face, said, "I am a pathetic and shy young man who studied civil engineering in a country called South Korea. I am Kim Suho." The real Lloyd was silent after hearing that. So Kim Suho asks him now, "Do you believe me? I cannot tell you anything else." While Javier acts as a CCTV guarding those demons who are trying to escape, the conversation of the two, Lloyd continues. The real Lloyd said, "Anu, I am still in this state because you came. You damn packer. Damn. Just take responsibility. I said you take responsibility." Kim Suho replied, "Why should I? Honestly, after I entered your body, your territory's been doing really good." The real Lloyd angrily replied, "Wow, you shameless bastard. Well, of course, I am thankful, but you cannot say that yourself." Javier heard that two persons talking to each other with the same voice. He started to question. I can only sense Kim Suho there. Is he talking to himself? But no, this tone. It is the real tone of the real young Master Lloyd. Now that there are two Lloyd, we will call our MC as Kim Suho, who is his real name from his past life. The real Lloyd, Frontera angrily shouted. If it weren't for you, I could have lived a good life. I became a wandering spirit that is not even registered because of a bastard like you. Take responsibility for this. Kim Suho was thinking deeply while listening to the whining of the real Lloyd Frontera. Then he proposed an idea, with his ugly, smug face. Kim Suho said, "Okay, let's do this then. I don't gain anything from helping you, so let's just live our own lives separately." The real Lloyd was shocked, but Kim Suho doesn't care and continued to walk away to finish the construction. The real Lloyd runs, saying, "Wait, you imposter, do you have any conscience?" But before he could go near towards Kim Suho, the best Pokemon, Podong, punched him in the face, which made him thrown away. Kim Suho continuously walking, and the real Lloyd was left in that area crying because he knows that he will become a wandering spirit in hell once again. But for Kim Suho, this guy is the real son of those two parents that shows him affection and treated him well. That is when his conscience triggers in, and he could only scratch his head for being annoyed. He picked up the poor crying Lloyd and said, "You, what do you need me to get you? Stop whining." From being emotional a while ago, the real Lloyd angrily said, "You imposter, that is for you to think about it." Because of the rude behavior of the real Lloyd, Kim Suho flicks his face, and he asks Kim Suho, why did he do something like that? Kim Suho told him that it was because he called him as an imposter. Lloyd said, "What is wrong with that? It is the truth, isn't it?" Kim Suho replied, "Well, in Korea, you get hit for speaking the truth." Kim Suho put him in his pocket and said, "Just stay quiet until I finish the construction, and I will help you after that." Because of that, Lloyd got angry and shouted, "Who said you could imprison me? Free me right now." But he stops his whining when he notices that there are other beings in his back. It was actually the legendary Pokemons of Kim Suho that he puts in his pocket. Kim Suho told his pets to make him keep quiet. Then only the thing could be heard was that Lloyd was being beaten down by these Pokemons. In Kim Suho's mind, a grand construction project of 110 kilometers. Let's finish this quickly and get him to quiet down. Once the roadbed of stage 1 is over, we will proceed to stage 2. We will use the pyroclastic rocks to build the roadbed. For stage 3, lay out rail tie made from lava centipede legs. For stage 4, lay out the rails from the lava centipede shells that were processed by Javier. For stage 5 is to call his legendary Pokemon Podong to jump on the rail tie and shells from lava centipede to compress on the ground. Kim Suho looks at Podong while compressing the railway. In his mind, since it is not the latest method of construction, it will be super shaky and dusty. Riding on it will probably make you want to puke. But his face suddenly turns into ugly, because even though he knows that there will be some problems, it is none of his business anymore. This bastard has no conscience. Kim Suho told Javier, "Hey, Javier, I will go and do a round of inspection. Make sure you will supervise them well." Javier said that he understood the orders and will follow. The real Lloyd on the pocket was shocked. In his mind, what is with this imposter? I knew that he always did a lot of things, but he has been working without rest for over a month. When is he going to play? When is he going to drink alcohol? Is this how he lives? Lloyd remembers the time when the Grim Reaper said, "Do you think that if that kind of person didn't have that kind of superpowers, he would drink alcohol every day? And do you think that if you had that ability, you would work as hard as he does?" He was silent after he remembers that, but still in his mind, no, he is not like that. He is someone who is cheap, petty, and mean. He will definitely run away as soon as a small problem occurs, right? On the other hand, Podong just happily jumps at the railways for it to be compressed. But there is suddenly a movement in the magma below. It was that there is a hidden creature resting in there. In that creature's mind, damn it, I haven't even slept for 20,000 years yet. Who the hell is making all this noises? But Podong jumps at the railway stronger compared to before. The creature said, "Damn it, I couldn't take it anymore. It's so freaking noisy." Then there is a large bubble that was formed in magma, and something in there is suddenly rising up. It was a large magma monster. The monster shouted, "Shut the freaking up and let me sleep." Kim Soo-ho, on the other hand, turns into ugly face and angrily shouted, "Damn it! Why is something always appearing when I am doing my construction?" The demons were running in fear and don't want to be caught by that lava monster. The demons were shouting, "It is the Dunkleos. Run away. It is supposed to be asleep for 10,000 more years. Why it is awake already?" The Dunkleos pointed at the railway and said, "I tried to bear with it, but this is way too much. Is that it? Is that what is causing all this ruckus?" But with just a second, Kim Soo-ho become the Flash and run faster like a track and field athlete, and he even swiped down the demons who were in his way, making them fall to the ground. Maybe his motto is save yourself first. The demons who saw his immoral action was happy, and they said, "Wow, look at how fast that bastard is running. That freaking selfish bastard is so freaking cool." The Dunkleos said, "Is it this? Is this the cause of the ruckus? Would it be quiet if I trampled the hell out of it?" Because of that, the Dunkleos kicked down the compressed railways that made it broken down. Because of that, Kim Soo-ho stopped from running away and turns 360 towards the Dunkleos, running while protesting, saying that the Dunkleus is a villainous bastard. He runs toward the lava monster. With his ugly face, Kim Soo-ho points his finger at him and angrily said, "In life things could get a little noisy, couldn't they? Why would you cause trouble when you can just bear with it a little?" The Dunkleos angrily replied, "What did you say? You bastard. You are in the wrong here. And you dare say that to me?" The demons were so hyped about the shamelessness of their role model, Kim Soo-ho. He is the god of shamelessness. Even the shame could become shy in front of him. The demons shouted, "Wow, that was a really freaking cool personality. No human should be able to be so shameless. But this bastard was able to do it." Dunkleos clenched his fist and said, "All right then, let us see which one of us dies today." Even he was just a small ant in front of the Dunkleos. Kim Soo-ho did not back down. So he called his hidden weapon. He shouted, calling Javier. Javier, who is a Grand Master, becomes a guardian angel of this bastard, and he tells Javier to cut him down. But Javier just looks at him without moving an inch. Even though Kim Soo-ho's nerves were about to burst out of anger, Kim Soo-ho asks him, "What are you doing? Just get to slicing." Javier said, "Honestly, I think it would be right of us to apologize this time around. We are the one who is causing the inconvenience, after all." Kim Soo-ho shouted and asks, "What? What do you mean inconvenience?" His face turns into a freaking ugly praying mantis that his veins were about to burst out of anger, and he angrily shouted, "I am the one who is being inconvenienced here." For the demons, they felt like they saw their saint in him. He was really fit for the role model. For them, his shamelessness is God tier. Since this bastard was so shameful, no words would sink into him. The Dunkleos decided to stomp on them, which created a large crack. There are large cracks that was created on the whole land that it made. It crumbles down. The demons are panicking, asking for help since they are about to fall. Luckily, Kim Soo-ho has a guardian angel on his side who saved him. Since this bastard is useless in battle, Javier just throws him to the ground, and Kim Soo-ho perfectly landed on the ground using his handsome face. Javier fly towards the Dunkleos to cut him down. The Dunkleos was cut down into several pieces, but the magma debris started to assemble again. Javier noticed that the magma was collecting in one area at a much faster rate. Then the Dunkleos' original body comes back again to its original shape. The Dunkleos said, "Did you just hit me? Did you, huh?" Kim Soo-ho, who was watching on the side, couldn't believe it. In his mind, Javier's attack didn't work on it. The Dunkleos gathers his breath, and then blow the magma towards Kim Soo-ho and Javier. Seeing the approaching magma attack, Javier releases multiple slashes to block it and parry all of the attacks coming from that magma monster. The magma debris from the attack of that monster was spreading towards where Kim Soo-ho was standing. He was panicking while avoiding the magma debris. Kim Soo-ho said, "Damn it, Javier, stop it. Don't do that." But Javier looks back at him while smiling. At that moment, Kim Soo-ho knew that he was pack up. Javier continuously parries down that magma blow of the Dunkleos, and all the magma debris is still hitting where Kim Soo-ho is. Kim Soo-ho shouted, "You bastard. Do not play with my life, just because you think it is funny. Then Javier fly down at a fast speed, and releases multiple slashes on the Dunkleos. There is a barrage of attack from Javier that it become a rain of slashes, and the Dunkleos was cut down into pieces. But the same as what happened before, the Dunkleos' bodies that was cut down started to assemble once again, and he came back to his original state. The Dunkleos point his finger at Javier, and he angrily shouted, "You idiot. Weren't you on my side just now? Why are you attacking me now?" Javier replied, "Ah well, I am a bodyguard for one, and the demons will also be in danger if you go berserk here." The Dunkleos said, "Step aside. I won't hurt the demons. You look like a man that is full of conviction. Who do you think is the victim and the bad guy here? That ugly bastard has no conscience and is a total demon. Are you going to deceive yourself and protect that?" Javier noticed that what this monster is saying is making sense and starts to think deeply. Because of that, Kim Suho shouted, "Hey you, how can you be seriously thinking about what it said?" The real Lloyd Frontera goes out from Kim Suho's pocket and he says, "Run now. You cannot kill that thing. You need to be alive to help me." But Kim Suho didn't listen to what he said and pushes him back to his pocket. Kim Suho, with full conviction, said, "Running away is only an option after you have tried everything else." The real Lloyd was shocked at what he said. In his mind, wasn't he the first one to run away just now? A man with full determination. Kim Suho said, "Take a good look, you drunkard. Look at the kind of power I've gained from a life of work without rest." But the real Lloyd Frontera cannot believe from what he said, because right now, there is no point for him to act cool. Kim Suho became the bravest man facing this large magma monster, who is as tall as building compared to him, who is like an ant. On the other hand, in the world of living in the Arctic region, Yong, the bone dragon that Kim Suho was able to gaslight, was waiting in there. In Yong's mind, it is a little cold here. When is dad going to call for me? He remembers when Kim Suho said, "In a place where no human will see you. Go wait at the end of the north." Got it? But for Yong, he already missed his dad, and he is so bored right now. Going back to hell. When the Dunkleos was able to come back to his original state, he tried to punch down Kim Suho, but Javier hurriedly fly and slashed his hand. Kim Suho opened his hand where Entix drew something that could open up a portal for him in a place where he thinks he wants to go. Then he shouted the chant, "Oh, commandment of time and space. Break the taboo and guide me to the place I must go." Then the drawing suddenly brightens up, and he was shocked that it was really working. The stick figure on the drawing started to run, and the place that he thinks is the place where his bone dragon Yong lies. Then, portal suddenly opens in the northernmost region, where Yong is. Yong was confused at first, but when he tried to smell the air that coming from that portal, he was able to smell the scent of his father in that place. Because of the cold breeze that coming out from the portal, the Dunkleos is confused about that thing, but he suddenly felt an intense cold that made his magma body crack. Because of that, Dunkleos realizes that his life is in danger, so he hurriedly runs away. He shouted, "Damn it, I will let you go for now. Just you wait and see." But Kim Suho's face turned into something evil again and shouted, "Sorry, but I don't fight the same enemy twice." Then he shouted, calling Yong to come to him, and Yong became like a dog who hurriedly fly towards his father. Kim Suho points his finger at the Dunkleos who is running away, and he said, Yong, you must be cold. Your warm heat packs is running away." Then Yong hurriedly fly towards the Dunkleos and hugs it to remove the cold temperature. He felt the Dunkleos didn't sweat from the extreme heat of his magma body, but only sweating from the cold temperature of the air. For Yong, it was so warm, and for the Dunkleos, the hug of Yong is so refreshing. But in science, when magma came out from a surface, it will be called lava, and when it cools down, it will form into a rock. That is why, with cold temperature, the Dunkleos cools down and solidify, turning his whole body into rock. Then this evil bastard Kim Suho, like he was a villainous boss, came walking while laughing and aimed his legendary shovel at the solidified body of the Dunkleos. He told Yong to get away since he will going to attack. Yang fly away and Kim Soo-ho attack it, making the Dunklio's solidified body to crumble down. The demons who were watching on the side could not believe at what happened. In all of their minds, that was the Dunklio's, one of the strongest being in hell, and he defeated it. The real Lloyd, who was also sightseeing in his pocket, cannot believe at what happened. In his mind, he actually won. He defeated that horrifying monster. Kim Soo-ho told the real Lloyd, "Take a good look, you drunkard. Look at the power I have gained from a life of without work and rest." Hearing that, the real Lloyd starts to question, "What have I gained in my life so far?" The real Lloyd wants to admit that Kim Soo-ho, who stole his body, was truly an incredible person. Then Kim Soo-ho was suddenly alarmed by the movement of the stone debris from the Dunklio's. Then the Dunklio's come out once again. The Dunklio's shouted, "I am the immortal Dunklio's." But Kim Soo-ho just looks down at him. Since from a big fella, he became a small minion in front of Kim Soo-ho. The destiny became opposite. Since Kim Soo-ho is now the bigger being, the Dunklio said, "Wait for just 1,000,000 years. I will bulk up and trample all of you." Kim Soo-ho just looks at the Dunklio's who was whining. Then his face suddenly turns ugly, and he says, "I would be dead and gone by then though." And he was teasing him by using his tongue, wiggling it back and forth in a childish manner. The Dunklio's cries, knowing that he cannot take revenge. He said while crying, "Damn it, that was so annoying, you mean bastard." And then he runs away from Kim Soo-ho. Kim Soo-ho teases him down and said, "If that triggers you so much, come and get me then, you peanut." This evil bastard who looks like a cow, calling one of the strongest being in hell as a peanut. Looking at the evil bastard who was teasing the poor Dunklio's while his tongue is wiggling back and forth. The real Lloyd wants to take back what he said, that Kim Soo-ho is an incredible person. In his mind, nope, he is not an incredible person. His personality is completely rotten. After defeating the gigantic magma monster Dunklio's, a notification suddenly pops up. Kim Soo-ho gains a new title called "Your hands are frozen cold. Your feet are frozen cold." Now, any part of that hell area will have a 0-degree temperature with an active period of 120 years. The power he got from this title is that he will become immune to hypothermia no matter how cold it gets. Kim Soo-ho smiled, in his mind, "Well, there is no harm in having this. Now, even a cold won't be a threat to me." But he was suddenly alarmed when the demons were not in chaos anymore. He looked back and saw that demons were kneeling in front of him. Kim Soo-ho asks, "What is this?" One of the demons said, "You are the biggest human scumbag in the world, including in hell. All of us here admire those traits of yours, and have been working here. But now, what we feel is respect. Great singer of hell who defeated Dunklio's, we will gladly obey any order you give." Kim Soo-ho becomes a shining, shimmering person, as he becomes the super role model in hell. He said, "You are so freaking pathetic, you self-volunteered slaves." The demons who like to be badmouthed can't help but go blush from the words of wisdom of Kim Soo-ho. In their mind, to think I would hear such words from the one I respect, it is so exhilarating. The demon bows down and told Kim Soo-ho, "Sir Singer, we do have a problem now." Lloyd asks, "What is it now?" The demon points at the portal to the northern Atlantic area, where Yang stays. He said, "It is the gate that you open. The cold wind blowing from the gate is making the living beings of hell uncomfortable. It seems like the ecosystem in the vicinity is about to experience abnormalities as well. We will need some compensation." Kim Soo-ho just looks at him with a face of disgust. He said, "Huh? The gate? Cold wind?" The demon could not answer because he knew that this legendary bastard wouldn't care about anything that doesn't harm him and would not offer time to fix it. The demon said, "The wind is literally blowing in our faces, and we all saw you just open it up just now." Acting like he doesn't know anything, Kim Soo-ho looked around and said, "What wind? Where is it?" The demon told him that even his collar was flapping around from the wind. Kim Soo-ho just smirked at them and said, "I've got nothing to do with that. Go and work if you are not doing anything, you slaves." Kim Soo-ho just looks away and continues walking without minding these poor demons. In all of the demons' mind, he just ignored us. It is his doing, but he is acting as if he has nothing to do with it. That nasty temper of his that has no intention of compensating at us at all. Because of the vicious personality of Kim Soo-ho, once again, the demons can't help but blush, and has no choice but to fall for his evil deeds. In Kim Soo-ho's mind, now that I have got the demons' complete loyalty, let us finish up the construction. The real Lloyd goes out of his pocket looking at Kim Soo-ho. In his mind, he is going to start on the construction right away. When is he going to help me? Lloyd looked at the cliff and saw a large magma lake in the area. He said, the construction will be delayed in 2 days if we want to cross over. But still, he smiled because he had a hidden weapon beside him. He called Yang and told him to take care of the large magma lake. With one dragon breath from Yang, the magma lake split into 2, giving a way for the construction of Kim Soo-ho. The other Pokemons were amazed that Yang was able to pull that off, making the construction easier. Kim Soo-ho also ordered Yang to help him flatten the roadbed. Yang became a construction equipment that stomped down the road to flatten it. Other Pokemons of Kim Soo-ho who wanted to help could only stand by, watching and receiving debris from the rocks. Everything that comes from the mouth of Kim Soo-ho is Yang. He called Yang and said, Yang gathers the lava rocks. Yang demolished the mountain. It feels like these to develop a long-term relationship than the previous Pokemons of Lloyd. The Pokemons who became jobless have no choice but to get angry at Yang. They want to protest their right as the previous construction Pokemons. While Yang is resting at the cliff, these Pokemons, who are like drunken Pokemons with a face like their master, confronted Yang. Podong said, you are acting obnoxious just because you are a little strong, huh? Do you not know that the age determines who is the boss here? Then suddenly, Yang lowers his head and glares at them. This made the other Pokemons alarmed, thinking that Yang will attack them. But Yang just waving his tail like a dog and sticking his tongue out, acting like he wanted to play. This made the other pets of Kim Soo-ho question, what is he doing? Yang lowered his back, asking them to ride on him. The other Pokemons ride at his back and enjoy riding Yang. Yang fly faster, which made the other Pokemons to become more excited. With that, Yang was able to capture the heart of these jobless Pokemons and has become comrades with Podong and the rest of the crew. Looking at his pets who are enjoying themselves with one another, Kim Soo-ho said, wow, Yang is so good at getting along with others. Suddenly, the real Lloyd appeared and called Kim Soo-ho as a human scumbag. The real Lloyd angrily asks, you scammed me, didn't you? Lloyd, looking at him with disgust, said, what are you talking about all of a sudden? The real Lloyd shouted, didn't you say you were going to help me? All you do is work on the construction. You are thinking of running away eventually, aren't you? Kim Soo-ho with his ugly face stick it with the real Lloyd and said, what are you going to do about it? The real Lloyd could only cover his face, shouting that his eyes were damaged. The real Lloyd shouted, you scared me. Don't put your face so close to me, you ugly bastard. You will really know how ugly he is when the real owner even looks at his face disgustingly. Kim Soo-ho angrily said, you know this ugly face is yours, right? Thanks to you, I have no luck with women. It is so bad that no romance can exist at all. Lloyd replied, go and pack yourself. Don't you know that the face is the window of the soul? You look so ugly because you have got a dirty soul. These two guys, with the same face, look at each other as if they want to bite each other's face. However, as they gaze longer, they feel a sense of disgust at their own ugly faces, and simultaneously say, get out of my sight. Kim Soo-ho said, didn't you see how busy I was? And I don't even know how I'm supposed to help you. Do you think I will suddenly think of it just because you are whining? Lloyd shouted, I already told you that your job is to think of how you can help me. You are the one who completely ruined my life, after all. Because of the continuous whining of Lloyd, Kim Soo-ho told him the truth. He glared at him and said, hey, honestly, I don't owe you a single thing. You would have died from alcohol poisoning even if I didn't appear. Your father, mother, and Julian were all going to die too. Kim Soo-ho added, I saved them all. You should have come to me bowing and thanking me instead. The real Lloyd continuously whines after hearing that, denying that what Kim Soo-ho said was all lies. He shouted, "That is all a piece of crap. Why the hell would I believe that?" Then the king of hell, Helkaros, suddenly appears in the scene. He said, "What Kim Soo-ho said is all true. Lloyd Frontera, you were fated to live a meaningless life that never made anyone happy and would never get any attention from anyone." Hearing that, Lloyd was shocked, and he stopped his whining. After hearing that, Kim Soo-ho starts to question his mind. Just how much does he know? Kim Soo-ho bows down to Helkaros and said, "Oh, the great king of hell, I would like to ask you one question. Just why have I been sent to this world? Do you perhaps know the reason?" Helkaros looked at Kim Soo-ho for a moment, and he said, "Look, it's like you really don't know anything. The messenger of the upper world seems to have taken your side though. Did they not tell you anything?" Hearing that made Lloyd shocked in his mind. Huh? He also knows about the messenger. Kim Soo-ho stays silent for a moment. In his mind, the upper world. When I gave Javier my mana previously, that is what the messenger mentioned too. Kim Soo-ho asks Helkaros about the upper world, but before he can finish the sentence, Helkaros says, "That is not what I came to talk to you about. Once that train is complete, I will be having much more free time. That is why I am able to come here now." Helkaros added, "I have been watching the construction while it takes place. It wouldn't be difficult to maintain the railways. The problem would be the train. It will take some time to research and analyze it. I am now sick of all sorts of work, so I want you to provide guidance on the maintenance." But Kim Soo-ho smiled because he knows that it was the time to gain more rewards. Kim Soo-ho bows down and said, "I will gladly do so. I will prepare the guide on all the maintenance to my very best." Helkaros asks, "So, what do you want?" Kim Soo-ho humbly replied, "I would like a reincarnation gate voucher, and I would like for it to be transferable." Helkaros said, "No such restrictions will be placed on it. It is up to you to decide how would you like to use it. You could also give it to the red little guy over there." Hearing that made the real Lloyd Frontera cry, because he can now be reincarnated, and he will not going to be a wandering soul in hell anymore. While the real Lloyd Frontera having his emotional moments, Kim Soo-ho just looks at him with his ugly face and whispers, "Satisfied now? The sight of you annoys me." Now, the train station in hell starts to work for the delivery of souls. The demons were pumping with all their might, and their face was about to die from exhaustion. One of the demons who felt like he could die from dehydration shouted, "It is so tiring. I am dying. I am freaking dying." Then Kim Soo-ho suddenly appeared at his side and said, Hey, why does your face look so terrible? Stop doing that." The demon happily asks, "Huh? Really? Are you sure I can stop right now?" Then with his ugly face, Kim Soo-ho said, "Yes, you useless bastard." Then he kicked him out of the train. The other demon was shocked that his comrade was kicked down on the train by this ugly bastard without mercy. The demon who falls off rolled down at the side of the road. This evil bastard Kim Soo-ho glares at them and says, "Any other demons that are feeling tired, raise your hands. I will help you rest in peace." The demons, out of fear of this evil boss, pump it so hard so that the train can move faster. The demon who fell off could only touch his face. Since this demon becomes a sadist who wants ill treatment, he can't help but get blush and laugh at what happened. He said, "I was treated like trash, and that got my heart fluttering." With this, every demon benefited from Kim Soo-ho's harsh treatment. Above the train, the real Lloyd calls Kim Soo-ho. He says, "Hey fake, are you really giving this to me?" Kim Soo-ho said, "Aren't you already holding it? Why are you asking me that?" The real Lloyd hesitated to express his thanks to Kim Soo-ho, but he said thanks slowly. These two end up glaring at each other when Kim Soo-ho said, "Don't get things wrong, Fugly. I was just scared of your ugly face would appear in my dreams. I gave it to you to get rid of the filth in my life." Then both of them fight with each other like they are some characters in Street Fighter. After fighting with one another, the real Lloyd asks, "Is mother and father doing well?" Kim Soo-ho replied, "Yeah, Lloyd is busy researching things about cooking and learning how to do business. Father has started sculpting again." Lloyd asks, "What about Julian?" Kim Soo-ho replied, He married the youngest princess of Asfahan and has built a home with her in the capital. The real Lloyd, who has never experienced having a girlfriend in real life like Kim Suho, was shocked to hear that. Kim Suho said, "Why are you so surprised? Want to know something even more incredible? Your father is now a count. He is not a baron anymore." Lloyd asks, "Was that all because of you?" Kim Suho replied, "Well, I didn't plan for them to happen, but it happened that way somehow." Lloyd said, about Javier, "When my father first brought him back, I couldn't believe what I saw. He is righteous, honest, and handsome. I knew that I could never become like him. That is why I bullied him." He asks Kim Suho something. He says, "Help me tell this to him later. Tell him I'm sorry for breaking his wooden sword. Actually, all I wanted was to become friends with him. Help me tell mother and father that I am sorry too." Little did Lloyd know that Javier was beneath them, listening to what he said. Now, they were able to reach the gate of reincarnation, but Lloyd looks back and wants to say something. He looked at Kim Suho and said, "If I get lucky and reincarnate as a human." But before he could finish his statement, Kim Suho kicked him towards the gate of reincarnation, like he was some sort of ball. Lloyd angrily shouted, "Bastard, why did you kick me?" Kim Suho angrily shouted, "You sounded so pathetic. I couldn't bear to hear another second of you. Just get lost already." Lloyd replied, "Just you wait and see. I will work really hard when I get reincarnated, so that you won't be able to be compared to me. I will work several times harder." For the last time, Lloyd shouted while crying, "I will be born as a human, and everyone in the world will be happy that I was born." Kim Suho just smiles at him knowing that he already changed. Kim Suho said, "Try that then, but I bet that will be tough." The real Lloyd smiles for the last time, as that is the good last words he hears from Kim Suho before he completely absorbs in the gate of reincarnation. After the real Lloyd was completely absorbed by the gate, Kim Suho looked back and said, "Mission clear, time to get my reward." Then, at the demon castle, with just one flick of Helcaros, the soul of Entix was freed from imprisonment, and the soul of Entix left the hell just like that. Both Kim Suho just looks at the soul of Entix, who suddenly transporter. Helcaros said, "Alright, as per the contract, Entix's soul has been released." Kim Suho was disappointed. In his mind, "Huh? He left just like that? How do I get my Dragon King membership?" Helcaros said, "The flow of time in here is different from the human world. Approximately 5 hours have passed in the human world. Your bone dragon will go back to the far north through the open gate. I will send you and your bodyguard back myself. My kindness ends here. I look forward to the day we meet again." Kim Suho was sweating to know that the King of Hell wants to meet with him again. He said, "But I don't want to meet you again." Before he could finish his statement, Helcaros already flicked his finger. Now that the real Lloyd was already reincarnated, and Kim Suho is back to the human world. We will going to call Kim Suho back as Lloyd. Lloyd was transported back to the human world together with Javier. He said, "That sounds so ominous. Why did he say we will meet again? I don't want to go to hell again." Javier asks, "Why do you hate it? You seem more comfortable in hell than on earth." Lloyd looked back at Javier and he said, "Speak for yourself. You are really enjoying saying whatever you wanted to the demons, aren't you?" Javier replied, "What? I only said good things to them." Lloyd said, "Are you serious, or are you just playing dumb?" But Lloyd just changed the topic. He said, "Whatever, old dragon. My membership. What? Did he scam me?" Then Javier called his young master Lloyd to look at something. There they saw a portal at the window of their mansion. And outside the window, there is a large dark shadow looking at them. Lloyd said, "What now? What is this thing?"